Hi, this is Mickey and I'm Dan, and welcome to 2020. For me, I'm looking back at last year, looking back at the State of the Workshop 2019 video that I made this day 1 year ago, and realizing that it was a lot tidier then. The link to that is down below. I figured I should do another one. It's kind of a mess, but let's go around the workshop. Let's talk about what's changed, and I'll show you some of the stuff that I got over the Christmas and birthday period that has just been. And yeah, talk about what's coming up in 2020. Let's do it. First, right here we have the Evolution table saw. I got that during the year. Evolution, thank you very much. They sent me this to play with. The unboxing video, again, I'll link that down below. Pretty cool, has really upgraded my table saw capability. In fact, I used this just yesterday, only on some hardboard, but being able to do some nice, quick, easy, straight precision cuts is pretty cool. Last year I think I talked about thinking that I would reserve this space for a metal lathe. I still don't have a metal lathe, I still want a metal lathe. I'll make space for one, and I will get one at some point. I still just need to figure out exactly how much money I'm willing to spend on something I don't really know have a use for, I just kind of have a fascination for. Anyway, the other thing just on this side of the picture is a wood cart. I think I kept this out of frame last year. I'm increasingly looking at this thing wondering whether I should just throw everything on it in the trash and get rid of it. I feel like I just end up storing offcuts forever. I don't know. That one's on the watch list. So over here we still have the welding corner. Last year I think this bandsaw was just on the side on the mount that it came with. So during the year I completed a vertical stand. This comes off really easily and then drops in place when I need it. It's very, very easy. I've used this a ton. It's been a fantastic purchase. And I have videos about both the unboxing of this, the creation of the vertical stand, making the switch lock that I put in place. It was pretty cool. Other than that, this area is, like everything else, kind of a disaster. I just need to do something about the scrap metal offcuts that I want to kind of keep, but I don't really have anywhere to put them. That's kind of a mess. New for this holiday period, nice new welding gloves. I managed to get a hole in the thumb of my previous ones. These are pretty good. These are very much MIG welding gloves. I also have on order some TIG welding gloves because my amazing wife bought me this nice shiny new TIG welder for my birthday. I cannot wait to give this thing a go. It's very exciting. It's been on my list for a long time. The only thing that I need though is some argon and the right plumbing bits to connect that together. And of course, over the Christmas New Year period, basically any company that's going to try and sell you that sort of stuff closes. So waiting for them to reopen, but then hopefully in the new year, videos on me trying to learn to TIG weld. Should be fun. Oh, and I almost forgot, I also got myself a new welding helmet. I've had a welding helmet for a long time. I had a cheap one. This is actually still a cheap one, but given the TIG welder, I thought it would be worth having a bit of an investigate into what my options are. And aside from the insanely expensive, like a couple of £100 helmets, this one got a great review, so I figured I'd give it a go. Already I can tell has much better clarity through the glass than the one I had, so pretty optimistic that that's going to help as well as I learn to TIG weld. I don't think anything else has changed on this side. Moving on. Really nothing has changed very much in this corner of the workshop. Still have my trusty tool caddy. It hasn't even moved from this spot in basically 12 months. I might move it this year, but for now, CNC still rocking along. All of this mess behind me is still exactly the same problem. Storage is what I need to figure out. Better ways to manage everything. We'll see how I do. The main notable addition this year for the CNC, ooh, shiny new end mill. This thing looks badass. Really want to give this a go. That was thanks to the in-laws. But yeah, I used this for a bunch of projects this year. for a load of presents that I didn't video any of. But my Instagram feed at least has some pictures of the final results. I made some cool coasters and things. But yeah, other than that, no real change. Oh, I say no real change. No real physical change that you can see. But I did, of course, this year upgrade from what was the CNC X Pro USB controller to the Duet 3D controller that Ooznest gave me. That was an epic upgrade, actually. Can't believe I forgot about that. And I also upgraded the software that I used to control the whole thing. So it doesn't look any different, but I think in the video I did of that, it was like 30% faster on the new hardware than the old one, which is bonkers, considering all I did was change the brain controlling the motors with the same feeds and speeds set up in Fusion. Like, it was a ton faster. You should definitely check that video out if you're interested in CNC. I'll probably link that one below as well. Right, moving on to where we have got a new tool this year. 2019 was very much the year of the laser. I got myself a K40 laser. I've been upgrading it. I've got all sorts of bits going on. I've produced a ton of laser cut and laser engraved stuff this year. It's been really cool. This used to be, I think in last year's video, I had like the spray box I use for painting and the old scroll saw. Gone. Now it's the laser. Punched a great big hole in my wall so that I can vent all the nastiness to the outside. And I upgraded, there's like an air assist in here. I have not one, but two different rotary axis designs that I've played with, which are really easy to swap in and out. With that, I've done like glass engraving, I've laser cut pens to do interesting things. Fantastic tool, very excited about lasers. I'm going to probably use the laser to try and help me solve some of my storage problems with some laser cut boxes. Possibly even later today, we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this corner. Still a mess of sharpening and grinding stuff. Oh, and of course, compressor. I've been after a compressor, or at least I wanted a compressor for, again, a really long time. And the problem with a compressor is that there's a lot of things you can use them for, but it's difficult to come up with the one thing that justifies the first purchase. In the end, for me, that thing was the laser. I wanted to use air assist. It makes a big difference to cutting on the laser and like keeping the flames down. So I decided, what the hell, got myself the compressor. It's geared up mostly to provide air assist for the laser, but I can very easily swap the tube to provide air blowing on the CNC, which was really useful when I was doing some aluminium cutting earlier in the year. And of course now I've started to acquire a range of air tools. We'll get back to those in a minute. Not a great deal of change over here. Still got the Cyclone, Hoover, the big chop saw, little chop saw is over here, and I again watched my 2019 State of the Workshop. I talked about wanting to move the belt sander. I have physically moved it onto the workbench or off when I needed to use it. I haven't come up with anything better than just like lugging it backwards and forwards at the moment. I did get myself new sanding discs. I've ended up putting Velcro on the disc sander so I can easily quick change, because by default those things are stuck on. I assume that I will lose some amount of the flatness of precision of the stuck on ones, but I think the convenience of being able to swap grits is probably going to outweigh that significantly. The shelves, I was surprised. I did the shelves before the beginning of last year. That's crazy. When you look back over 12 months, I could swear that I was going to have been more recent than that. But no, they were already there. They still have basically the same stuff on them. Yeah, that's been this side of the workshop. Bandsaw, still bandsawing, still in the same space. Yeah, basically that's it. So let's get to new tools. Christmas and birthday type presents. There's so many new things to play with, and I'm very lucky to have such such cool stuff. Some of this is recent, some of it's been a while, but But yes, so what have we got? Let's see, new air tool, so new air tools. This is a nibbler. I basically got this pretty much entirely because Wes Swain of Geeksmithing did his video on using the K40 and the upgrades he made to it, and one of the things he did was cut the bottom out of it using a nibbler. So this is pretty cool. It's quite, I guess, neat. Like, it doesn't make sparks, it just little chips out and it cuts through thin sheets of metal and cardboard or whatever you want to do. Not a very expensive tool. The good thing about having the compressor is that the actual tools, or at least some of the tools, are pretty cheap, given that you've got the most expensive part out of the way. So that said, the other new air tool is a little 2-inch sanding disc thing. Actually, it has a 3-inch adapter as well. This is quite nice. Lots of new discs of different grits to use with this. The main thing that I'm realizing is that I'm going to need good ways to store these. So I have a quick design right now that will be 3D printed this afternoon, hopefully, to create little hanger attachments for these ends to go on. I did 3D print one that somebody else had created, with Thor realizing that this was designed for the American style attachments, which don't fit. So I pretty much stole the kind of the idea of this, and I'll see how I've done with the model. But that will hopefully give me some places that I can just easily hang these up rather than keep them in these boxes tucked away. What else have we got? My brother, basically when my family asked me what to get me for Christmas or my birthday, I often tell them, get me consumable stuff. Like, we will go through a ton of glue and sandpaper and blades, and it's not the most exciting thing to buy, but I always appreciate receiving them as presents because it's like, great, I don't have to go and buy more. And my younger brother hooked me up with some interesting, this is stuff called Joiner's Mate. It's basically, as far as I can tell, a super glue and an accelerator that creates bombs instantly. That's kind of fun. Some new Gorilla Glue wood glue, some fancy Fix sealing and bonding adhesive, good for flooring and such, which I shall play with. I got, this is not consumables, engineering set of drill bits. I've spent a while, I was doing a few months ago where I specifically wanted like a 3.2mm hole or something. It was one of those weird things where it's like, damn it, I just would have been easier if I'd had the right drill bit. So this is a set of drill bits that goes from 1mm to 6mm in 0.1mm increments. Very cool. What else have we got? Not really woodworky. Shiny. This is a 7-inch screen for a Raspberry Pi. So, and I 3D printed an enclosure. Again, this is just from Thingiverse. I didn't design it. I'm kind of interested maybe to go with the automation of my heater. Hey Google, turn on the heater in the garage.
Okay, turning on the garage heater.
Is it excessive? Of course it is. But you know, it's a little bit fun. Hey Google, turn off the heater in the garage.
Okay, turning the garage heater off.
To do some interesting stuff, wall mount this, maybe create some touch controls for the workshop for different things. We'll see. No tour of gifts would be complete without the Fools with Tools treasure trade gift that I received from the epic Steve House. It is my lightsaber themed metal scribe. How amazing is that? Really looking forward to marking out some projects with this. It came in this epic natural log. Very cool. Thank you again, Steve. So that is everything that is on here right now. I'm sure I've forgotten stuff because I'm a lucky boy. I'm a very lucky boy, and I've got lots of cool tools. So let's talk about ideas for 2020. So I have quite a few different things I want to do. some of them more in videos. I want to play more with doing extra graphics on the videos, depending on how much time I felt like I had today. I may have added some to this video already. But then, obviously in the workshop, I guess the main theme, I feel like I shouldn't say this because I feel like I say it every year, but tidying, I really need more storage things. What clearly does work well for me is having specific homes for tools, because when I look around at the things that are in their places, things that have a very specific home tend to go back there relatively easily. Everything else just ends up on a bench in a mess. So that continues to be a theme. The other thing I want to do in here, not really workshop-y related, but it's been on my mind for a little while. I used to have a projector, well I have a projector. I used to have the projector that I have set up in this corner before I changed the doors. It's been gathering dust for literally a year and a half at this point. So what I'm going to do, if you can just see in the frame, this is like the remnants of what was the old garage door opener when this was an up and over door. I still have the opener up on the ceiling here. I'm going to take this down. I've bought myself a mount. I'm going to mount the projector pretty much in its place probably. Use the power supply that used to feed this to feed that instead. And I'm probably going to get a screen that I can lower over here. Now, one of the reasons that I haven't been using the projector this year is because I increased the lighting in the shop, which is epic for shop lighting, terrible for projectors. So the other thing I'm going to do is put an isolator switch on these two front lights so I can switch them off and leave the other half on. I mean, it's not making, but I spend a lot of time in here. It'd be nice to be able to have some stuff on whilst I'm working. So there's that. So storage, projector. I'm obviously going to get argon for the TIG welder and start learning to TIG weld. So let's see, projects. I want to make a gate for the side of the house. I kind of like to make a coffee table. That's been on the list for a while. Bedside cabinet units I've been promising forever and I haven't done them. So there are a few woodworky things, a few metalworky things. Kind of want to make some garden ornament stuff. That's kind of a TIG welding project. Sheet metal, blah. Well, yeah, lots of stuff like that. Unfortunately, this year, well, in 2019, DIY-wise, things were not all plain sailing. So yeah, I had a leak. The thing that actually caused the damage, I will say, was not me, or at least the stuff that caused the visible damage to the ceiling, was a faulty valve on a radiator. Over the summer, I shut the valve off because I was, whatever, I shut the valve off, and apparently water started leaking through the valve down out the outside of the radiator pipes and into the ceiling, which then destroyed the ceiling that you just saw. So that was bad, but would have been fine, except that it also exposed me to the fact that the floor underneath my bathroom was not in a good state, because I had obviously not sealed it enough when I did it 5 years ago, just about 5 years ago. So one of the things that's going to take some time this year is going to be, unfortunately, ripping out the ensuite bathroom and trying to get it right this time. Sucks, but you just have to roll with it, get that sort of thing sorted. That's going to be very distracting from the workshop, but we'll see. And maybe, who knows, 2020 might still be the year of the metal lathe. Just, if you have a recommendation for like a metal lathe that's like worth having, that isn't insanely expensive, let me know in the comments, because, I mean, this is with every tool, right? It's difficult to figure out how much am I really going to use it. I don't want to buy a cheap one and then find that it's garbage. I don't want to spend thousands and thousands of pounds and realize I don't really use it, or I'm not capable of using it to its fullest extent. Trying to find that middle ground of like something that's good enough to get along with, that will kind of grow at least a little bit with you. Always tricky. So yeah, if you have suggestions, let me know. And I'm in the UK, so please don't give me American suggestions. That's half the problem with buying tools, is finding things that are commonplace and available in North America, which are not available in the UK at all. Anyway, right, I've rambled enough. this has been State of the Workshop 2020. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you hopefully during the year. Catch you next time.